The National Trust. The need to make this world inclusive. The need to live with dignity and honor. The need to march ahead in glory. The need to celebrate diversity. Thus making reality the United Nations Convention on the Rights and Dignity of Persons with Disabilities. This is Badhte Kadam.
Whenever we were planning a program, we always realized that one of the most important things we needed to do was awareness raising. And even the UNCRPD has a whole chapter on awareness raising, because I think across the world it has been realized that the attitude of people and the total disbelief that people with disabilities can actually participate as equal members of the community, that we need to change people's way of thinking, their attitude. We need to create awareness, and that is the reason why we conceived of Badhte Kadam. It was a very cost effective, very good way of meeting people, very good way of bringing people together, creating a dialogue. And the most important thing I feel is you cannot change these attitudes unless the Badhte Kadam program has role models, because it is only when people see that other people with disabilities have gone ahead, they have studied, they have got jobs, they have got families of their own, they have got married, then they start thinking that yes, it's possible. I hope is that we can continue this program from year to year and take it across the country.
The Badhte Kadam campaign really ticked. It was a unique awareness generation campaign. Not only was it cost effective, it won the instant approval of the Board of National Trust, of which I am a member. It innovatively promoted the awareness and understanding of disability with special focus on developmental disabilities. Community participation, inclusion, networking and partnership were its hallmarks.
In order that parents along with the community start doing something so that the children and persons with intellectual disabilities get into the mainstream, whether it is education, vocational rehabilitation or training and subsequent placements. A lot of awareness needs to be created in the society. As a board member and a parent myself, I thought it will go a long way in future if this can be taken forward in the communities, so that independent living of persons with intellectual and developmental disabilities can be smooth and be easy.
Certainly an enormous task requiring a lot of planning and manpower.
We ended up having 25 volunteers from all across India, and it was a process that we did through our partner organizations, the National Trust partner organizations. We asked them to find volunteers for us, and we ended up getting a full diversity of volunteers from all parts of India, people speaking different languages. We wanted to make sure we had an equal amount of men and women, younger volunteers, older volunteers, people speaking the different regional languages and such. Of course, when we brought everyone together for training, we had to mold together teams. So, you know, that was a whole process in itself. And then people who didn't necessarily know one another were now going to spend 2 weeks together. So, you know, there are always issues that come up, of course, but ultimately in the end, we had 4 cohesive teams that were able to spread this message about UNCRPD rights, about National Trust programs, and about celebrating diversity, which of course our volunteer teams reflected.
Badhte Kadam was one of those experiences which you don't really get very often, and it was a wonderful experience because so many of your management skills could come into the fore. We knew that we were going to go to 60 different places because we were going to travel over a 15-day period, and we would have only 1 day break somewhere in the middle. And then we had this plan that, you know, every day the travel shouldn't be anything more than 4 hours. And we tried to work around these constraints when we planned the routes. And we had to find an NGO which was capable of handling or being a partner in this endeavor. And there was this constraint that you shouldn't travel for more than 4 to 5 hours because it will become too much of a fatigue. and there was sufficient time for a program in the evening. There will be 4 teams. They would travel in 4 different directions. We'll start from Delhi and route back to Delhi. So we had 13 states and 1 union territory that were covered in this entire process. I think for the NGOs also it was one of those empowering situations where however limited their operations were in terms of area, now they were part of a national campaign.
With all support and materials required to create social awareness and sensitization, the project took off on 14th of November 2009. The Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment, Shri Mukul Vasnik, flagged off the team.
It is indeed a great pleasure for me to be here this evening to flag off the teams of Badhte Kadam, which I believe is a pioneering campaign by the National Trust.
With rich experiences from across the country, the teams remained steadfast.
It was challenging to adapt to different locations. I think a lot needs to be done. This Badhte Kadam program would definitely help raise awareness among people, especially in North India, where I feel the awareness level is much lower compared to South India.
They received warm welcome amidst lot of cheer and joy.
इसमें हम चारों दिशा में गए थे, लोगों को जागरूकता किया बढ़ते कदम के लिए, सामाजिक न्याय अधिकारिता मंत्रालय से क्या क्या बेनिफिट मिल रहा है लोगों तक पहुंचाने के लिए। हम लोगों को काफ़ी रिस्पांस मिला और काफ़ी अच्छा रहा।
There were 60 melas put up by the National Trust partner organizations to demonstrate varied talents. The most appropriate platform to sensitize the public and spread the word of National Trust schemes and programs. The crusade kept rolling ahead, bringing awareness throughout India.
Bravo! Badhte Kadam turned out to be a phenomenal success. The commitment and enthusiasm of the team is contagious and would certainly help in facilitating a nationwide movement.
मंजिल खुद आवाज देगी, तुम यूं ही बढ़ते जाना, पाँव के नीचे पर्वत होगा, तुम यूं ही चढ़ते जाना. And when the sun sets in the western skies, there is a promise made by the team who returned with hope in their hearts. At the flag-in, besides celebrating the accomplishments of the spirited volunteers, a number of Special Olympians were also felicitated by the Minister of State for Social Justice and Empowerment, Shri Napoleon. The movement has begun and will be continued by the National Trust and its partners.
It is a step beyond what we think that nothing about us without us. It's something like nothing about anything without us. We have very excellent team in our office. Our volunteers, our partner NGOs, they are all very, very enthusiastic about this. In future, again, we will like to have it maybe through bigger partners next time. Some donors, some sponsors. Next time we can even expand it to all the states, all the UTs of the country. And now this is definitely a phenomenon. It is a movement. It's a moment of our reckoning that now this is our time, and nobody can simply write us off.
हवाएं झूमती है अपनी डगर, घटाएं बरसती है चाहे जिधर। हवाएं झूमती है अपनी डगर, घटाएं बरसती है चाहे जिधर। हम भी चुनेंगे अपनी डगर, कदम बढ़ा